Alright, so my name's Mike, and this is a video to try to help diagnose this Frogger cabinet I'm restoring. So, just give a little bit of kind of overview of what I've got going right now. For now, I'm running that LCD monitor just for testing. I have a different, more appropriate sized one that will be the monitor when everything's said and done. I know I'm going to catch flack for going with an LCD, but this was a completely stripped cabinet when I got it, and I really don't have the money to be dropping $400 or $500 on a good CRT, a good new CRT for this setup. So these are the Frogger boards I have. I bought them untested, and along with a harness and a power supply that wasn't working. I had to repin some of the wiring. So I'm going to show this end for a second. Okay. And as far as I know, this is all factory Frogger wiring. I'm going to unplug this and show the other side. If anybody sees anything that's wrong or out of the place, please let me know. All the wire colors should be factory, because as far as I know, this was a factory Frogger harness. I have sat down with the wiring diagram and compared everything, and so far, from what I can tell, everything matches up. Okay, so now it's plugged back in. We'll continue with the rest of the cabinet tour. I'm using one of the HAP Power Pros for power, and an adapter I got. Everything came as a kit. I will show voltage at the power box here in a minute. I made my own adapter for the display. That way I'm not hacking up the original harness. I had some extra plugs. This originally was a P3, as you can see. I don't have a black permanent marker, so I made use with a gold one. But I just lined out the P3 and wrote P5 to remind myself. And it goes up to the CGA to VGA adapter. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen these before. I'm pulling 5 volts from the power supply. So I'm going to fire this thing up to show the different voltages. Okay, so first 12 volts. I'm actually making 13 and a half. Next will be negative 5 volts. I'm making negative 5.04. Next will be the positive 5 volts. It's kind of hard to do this with probing with one hand. There you go. I'm making a little over 5 volts. Now, I'll show you what my cabinet is doing. First thing is a video. From the boot, this is all I get. And it keeps doing this. Eventually, down here, I will get credits. I believe it's credits 0. And on the top line, I will get the high score and the prayer 1 score and some other text. I don't remember specifically what it is. That's hit and miss when that happens. If I adjust the power, unfortunately I can't adjust each voltage individually. They are all tied together. But adjusting the power will do different things to the display. In addition, it makes a beeping sound. I'll see if I can get it recorded on audio. Alright, so I'm going to try to capture this audio, so I'm going to shut up for a minute. So from this point on, the video is just going to be an overview of the cabinet and kind of explanation on what my plan is with it. If you came here to watch the video for the diagnosis, there will be no more explanation of what it's doing after this point. Alright, so for those of you that hung around, this is my Frogger cabinet. I bought it as a stripped unit. Someone had tried to convert it to a MAME cabinet and failed. It's in okay condition. There are some things that are pretty rough. This corner right here, the T-molding has been peeled off and the wood is starting to chip away. The overlay is pretty well hammered. It's still there, but it's pretty well hammered. You can see here and across here, then where it lips over the top here. I don't know if the Froggers originally had a glass front or a plexiglass, but this is plexiglass. It's missing two of the securing screws, but the three across the top are still there. I still have the frame. Coin mechanism's a little finicky, but it does work, and it's in pretty good shape. Coin counter does function. I tested it, and of course it's got the easy adjust control panel. That was something Sega did. Still has the original coin box, which I'm pretty happy about. Rest of the condition of the cabinet isn't too horrible. So I have the back plates, but it definitely is an old machine. It's showing its age. So when everything's said and done, all the wiring will be secured. Everything will be bundled like it should be. The main game boards are going to be attached to the vertical back panel as where they were originally. My plan is to use that LCD monitor right there, which is 13 and the overall outsides of the frame is 13.25 inches by 16 inches, I believe. Yes, 16 inches. It'll be in a vertical orientation, so the 16 will be the height. And I'm planning on cutting a piece of plywood as a bezel to sit inside. And then, of course, I will buy a new internal bezel. It did come with what was left of the original bezel. But as you can see, that's not right. It's not supposed to be in pieces like that. From what I can tell, the person trying to do the conversion had planned on putting those on that side of the screen of the screen cover and mounting the LCD to the screen. So as for my plan for this machine, I'm not going for a full restoration. There's a couple of things that kind of make it not cost effective to do it. One of them is the machine does have some damage. Luckily, there's no major water damage that I can see, but it is damaged. We already showed you this right here. On the other side, I have a couple spots that's damaged. This edge right here, I'm going to get a piece of metal channel, aluminum channel, to cover this up because it is kind of chewed up in places. The underside is a little chewed up, but it's not horrible. The Frogger marquee is faded, but it's serviceable. So my ultimate plan here is basically restore it to be a period correct machine. Not something, oh, there, I just noticed there's another wear and tear right there. Anyways, it looked like a machine that's been in service for a few years. I'm calling this more of a revival than a restoration. I plan on getting some side art for it, but I will probably scar up the side art to make it look like it's been around a minute. But that's where I'm at. I do have two other arcade machines here at my house. That is my MAME arcade cabinet. It does have serial numbers on it, and I have looked up what the original game was, but I have not written it down, so I don't remember. And my other machine is this Popeye cocktail, and it's 100% functioning, and from what I can tell, pretty much original. If there's an interest, I might do a little video on both of these machines sometime in the future. I mainly put this together for help diagnosing my my issue with the Frogger cabinet. So any questions, leave them in the comments. Thank you guys.